While the Health Secretary fights to save his job, the crisis in the NHS continues. Greater Glasgow and Clyde Health Board have been named as a suspect in a corporate homicide investigation into the deaths of 4 patients, including 10-year-old Millie Main. For years, Millie's family have sought justice, but years on from this case first being raised, no one has been held to account and no one has lost their job. The Chair, John Brown, who has overseen this scandal, comes to an end of his term in a few weeks. But despite being chair of the only public body in Scottish history to be named a suspect in a corporate homicide case, he is to be kept on by the government as an advisor on NHS good governance. An advisor on NHS good governance. You couldn't make this up. First Minister, what message does this send to grieving families, and what does it say about your judgment that the man who presided over this scandal will continue to advise your government?
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, first of all, my thoughts and my condolences continue to go to the families that have been impacted and affected. And let me pay credit to Anas Sarwar, who has provided, I know, support to many of those families who have been so tragically impacted and affected. Where Anas Sarwar and I will vehemently disagree is that, of course, the government, I believe, has, of course, taken action. That is why we established the public inquiry in the very first place. The entire purpose, the entire point of a public inquiry is to get to the truth of these matters. I can't obviously comment on a live police investigation. It is important for me to say that, of course, individuals haven't been named in relation to the Health Board. In that regard, it is the Health Board, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, that has, as a corporate entity, been named as a suspect. And I would say to Anas Sarwar, he may wish to be the judge and the jury in the investigation. It is my job to ensure that I don't interfere, that I don't intervene neither in the public inquiry or indeed interfere in a live police investigation. So we will hold to the board to account where necessary. That's why, of course, the Oversight Board was established in the first place, and that's why we ensured that the 108 recommendations were completed. So we'll allow the independent inquiry and the independent police investigation get on with the job that they're meant to do without the government interfering.
Anas Sarwar.
You see, the First Minister's judgment is called into question here because Jean Freeman put these people into special measures and Humza Yousaf lifted them out of special measures and empowered them. So let me be clear, John Brown shouldn't be advising this government and he should not hold any public appointments while the criminal investigation and the public inquiry continues. And the Chief Executive of this Health Board, Jane Grant, has been in post since before Millie died. During that time, she's been paid over £1 million. She has led an organisation that is now being investigated for corporate homicide, that has gaslit grieving families, shut down and bullied NHS staff, and called into question the results of an independent review that exposed fatal infections in children. Now she will continue to run this health board while the police investigate her actions and those of the people who report to her. In any other walk of life, suspects would not be allowed to walk free on a crime scene. So why does the First Minister continue to back and not sack the Chief Executive of this health board?
First Minister.
Can we just be absolutely clear on this? Anas Sarwar has other information that is not in the public domain. Individuals such as Jane Grant have not been themselves named as a suspect. It is, of course, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde as a corporate entity, of course, that has been named as a suspect. And it is a suspect. It is important that the police investigation is allowed to continue. As I say, Anas Sarwar may wish in his position to be judge and jury. It is important that I allow the police investigation to happen without interruption. Anas Sarwar makes the point to me that the NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde were de-escalated. He's right, they were de-escalated. But the entire point is they were de-escalated because they made improvements in performance following the completion of all 108 recommendations outlined in the independent review. Is Anas Sarwar seriously suggesting that having completed all of the recommendations in that Oversight Board, that no appropriate action then should have been taken? In relation to patient safety, which is at the very heart of these issues, I'm very pleased that this Parliament was able to pass the Patient Safety Commissioner Bill. On top of that, of course, we have taken many actions in relation to patient safety. So I will continue to ensure that we allow the public inquiry, allow the police investigation to take its course unimpeded without interference from the Scottish Government, and at the same time, of course, do everything we can to ensure patient safety within our NHS.
Anas Sarwar.
It's such a tragedy that every week the First Minister just continues to demonstrate how completely out of depth he is in terms of his position. The first ever corporate homicide investigation of a public body in Scottish history. And these are the answers we are getting from Scotland's First Minister. Deadly mistakes made, facts denied, a cover-up continuing, and to this day, no one, not a single person, held to account. Instead, incompetence is rewarded. This is not just a story of this health board, but of this SNP government. From deleted WhatsApp COVID messages to the leadership of this health board being allowed to continue in their jobs, also this government can try and save face, while families grieve the loss of loved ones. First Minister, your choices have consequences. This is what Kimberly Darrick, the mother of Millie Mayne, said on Monday. I've never been able to celebrate Millie's life like I should be. Anytime I think of Millie, I think of all the pain that day caused and continues to cause. I feel that pain the day I lost her every single day because of all of this. First Minister, for once, do the right thing. Sack the leadership of this health board.
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, I can't imagine the pain of losing a child. I think it is every parent's worst nightmare without a shadow of a doubt. And I have, of course, paid credit to those who have supported Kimberly Darrick and other families who have suffered such a loss. What I am interested in is action. That's why this government established the Oversight Board. That's why we established the public inquiry. That's why we introduced and passed the Patient Safety Commissioner Bill. That's why we introduced the duty of candour. That's why we established the Independent National Whistleblowers Office, the first of its kind in the UK. That's why we ensured that there are whistleblowing champions in every single health board. We will continue to demonstrate that leadership. And I know Anas Sarwar, he's always faltering when he goes for the personal attacks. It's something he has done throughout his entire period as leader of the Scottish Labour Party. Can I remind him about his version of leadership? I think we've seen just yesterday a demonstration of the lack of leadership that Anas Sarwar is able to show. If in the face of thousands of innocent men, women and children in Gaza being killed, that Anas Sarwar can't even demand that his own Labour MPs back a ceasefire, then that's not a version of leadership, Presiding Officer, that I will subscribe to.